Okay. Okay. While we wait for Tapiso and Atlian, Amo, I mean, being a financial person, are you familiar with something like this?
What is this? Revenue streams. Yeah, I believe I have.
All right. So you can do a financial modeling. You do financial modeling very well. Beg your pardon.
I'll try my best. I don't want to be too confident. I'll try.
All right. So we're waiting for one more person. If Fanilo is in the house, Atliang is in the house, waiting for Tabiso.
Okay.
Tonito.
Yes, sir.
I do have a copy of the FMC that I think they could complete, just that they won't be able to enter the amounts.
You said what?
I have a copy of the FMC that I think they could complete. I just don't think they'll be able to put in the amount.
What?
On Word, I think.
On Word? No. We don't want. Okay. Did you send them the FMC template?
Sorry?
Did you send them the
Yeah.
FMC? No. So that's what. Okay, we're talking about the canvas on Word, right?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I think we'll figure it out. As long as once they understand this model, you get what I'm saying. Once they understand the model from the board, from the canvas, then creating those inputs on what's it called, on a sticky note or a piece of paper, will help. Now, guys, this FMC class is going to be a 3-session class. Okay, when I mean 3 sessions, 3 days class, and that 3 days will span today, tomorrow, and Monday. The reason why we're not going to do Friday is so that after we teach today and tomorrow, we need to give you time to go and work on it, okay? Then Monday, we will look at it together and fix the things that we want you all to fix, all right? So let's get in. Now, this is what a financial model canvas looks like. Now, this canvas was designed by one of our directors, like I did say to you. His name is Wale Midiola, right? And created by Shiwaji Consultant in 2018. Now, this canvas, if you look at the business model canvas, you discover that when they spoke about cost structure, revenue structure, and cost structure, they kept it at a high level. It was just too high level. And if you're a small business owner, you may not understand how to really integrate or interpret that structure into your business framework, all right? So what Wale did was to now further break down that cost structure and revenue structure from a business model canvas. And with that, he created a financial model canvas, which we've used over the last 2 years now to teach at Black Umbrellas and every other incubation and business platforms that we run as Shiwaju. And it has been very helpful. It has helped small businesses understand financial modeling at a very small scale level. It has also helped business owners understand what goes into their businesses. Because sometimes we think we plan and we budget, but we really don't know how to do it. So this document and this canvas will help you from scratch understand what is required. So now, at a glance, this is what a financial model canvas looks like. So there are 2 structures, 2 decks on it. So the first deck speaks about the revenue streams, the revenue structure, and the other deck speaks about the cost elements. All right, I can hear an echo of my voice somewhere. So maybe perhaps you just mute your mic, and when you want to say something, you can unmute then talk so that the feedback doesn't come back. Are we together?
Cool.
All right, so this is what it looks like. So from the revenue streams, it speaks about where is my money coming from? And I'm throwing the question to you as you look at this financial model canvas right now. Where exactly is your money coming from? Tabiso, where is your money coming from? Is it coming from sales? Is it just sales alone? Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, at Leon RS Consulting, and ammo, where is your money coming from? Is your money coming from the fact that you just offer accounting services, or because they pay you for services rendered? Some people like you should also charge for consulting. So consulting should be part of where your money comes from. Because there are people who are just going to come to you and just ask questions, get information without really hiring you to do the job. So you get paid for the information you release, consulting. So the big question is, where is my money coming from? Okay. Where's my money coming from? Which is, and for you to understand where your money comes from, you need to understand, what services do I offer? Number one, how much of the services do I offer? If I use products, okay, my money comes from the vodka sales, all right? That's the visual. How many do I get to sell? Volume. Do you understand? Now this volume needs to be multiplied by what? In terms of days or per week, okay? So how much bottle do I get to sell per day, per week, per month? How many bottles do I sell? At what rate? The price. Okay? So this input assumption. Now remember, when you build a financial model canvas, you build it from two perspectives. Perspective one is the fact that, okay, I am already in business. So I have inventories, I have data to say, okay, based on what I've done in the last 1 year, talking to Tabiso now, also talking to RS Consulting. Oh, where is my money coming from? Accounting services, tax services, admin services. Those are the basic. What more can we put together? That's where your input assumptions will now start to play. There are more services we think we can render. Are you getting what I'm saying? Tabiso's new input assumption now is that, oh, we make alcohol, and because of the COVID-19, we need to also ensure that our delivery people are well equipped to stay safe and also to keep our clients safe. So we can also produce what? Sanitizer, because we make alcohol. We can also, from that alcohol, produce our own hand sanitizer. That's a new input. You're assuming that, and if we do that, we now begin to create an assumption to say that this projection simply implies that we might be able to sell 100 sanitizer every month at this rate. Input assumption. Are you getting what I'm saying? So here it talks about what is currently giving you money and what has the capability to give you money. What is giving you money and what has potential to give you money. That's your revenue stream in a nutshell. Any questions so far? Are we together? Now, so after the first deck, which talks about our revenue stream, now the next deck explains our cost elements. Now, do not forget that for you to offer to make money, you must have invested or spent money to make money. You spend money to make money. Are you with me? For you to be able to sell 1 bottle of vodka, how much did it cost you to produce 1 bottle of vodka? Are you getting me now? So your cost element. Now, but on the cost element, there are different type of cost element that you must understand. And cost element simply implies, where is my money going to? Okay, so there are 2 types. There are fixed costs and there are variable costs. So your variable costs will address stuff like what? Your cost of ingredients, materials that you use to deliver. The reason why it's variable is because if you decide to buy, I don't know what you use, but if you decide to buy 10 bags of sugar, all right, for a period of time, the next time you're going to be buying sugar, you decide to buy 1 bag, meaning sugar cost is not fixed. Are you getting what I'm saying? So your sugar cost is dependent on the volume you buy per time when you need it. So it's variable. And you could get to the market and there is sales. Wow, sugar is now 10 Rand or 10 kg. That's sales, and you grab it. So the cost varies. Now, but there are things called fixed costs. Those fixed costs talks about your capital expenditures and your rent, okay? Your marketing, your wages and salaries, and other fixed costs. So if you rent an office space, at least for the period of 1 year, it is fixed. So fixed costs are cost elements that remain the same for a period of at least 12 months. You get what I'm saying? So your rent, for example, your salaries, you don't increase salaries every 3 months. Now, but you can also move wages and salary into variable cost when you now start relating with your team as people who earn commission. Do you understand what I'm saying? Tabiso, Atlean. So once they end on commission basis, then it's no longer fixed. It becomes a variable cost. Are you getting what I'm saying? Are we together? So in a nutshell, this is what the financial model canvas looks like. And this is how, so you and I are going to be doing ourselves justice today in filling out this particular form. So let's look at it. What is FMC? What is Financial Model Canvas? All right. Now, FMC, first of all, it is a fun and innovative way of understanding business financials. So it is fun and innovative. Why? Because why doing it, you find yourself enjoying it. Why? Because you're unpacking things that you never thought about existed in your business. All right. And it's innovative. Why? Because as you discover, you stick it on the board with your sticky note to say, oh, this is it. Or this is a new way. Okay. For business owners and entrepreneurs. Number two, it also helps you to begin by determining the economical and financial viability of a business idea before you start thinking of scaling it. Now, what does this statement mean? It simply means that if you take time today, today, tomorrow, and by Monday, when we sit down to unpack this, you and I can categorically or emphatically, okay, either emphatically or empirically tell that this business is viable or not. Are you getting what I'm saying? Why? Because by the time we are done unpacking every steps, we now know, oh, this business is worth investing in, or this business is just not worth investing in because this business is taking away all the money and it's not, the return on my investment is low compared to my cost or value of investment. So with a financial model canvas, it will help tell the economical and financial viability of a business idea before you start thinking about scaling it. Finally, it also essentially helps you understand where your money is coming from and where it goes to. Now, that's the biggest challenge of every small business. I know some of us said, oh, roughly we made close to 75,000 in the last 8 months or 10 months or 1 year, 85,000. But the big question is, where's that money? Some of it you can't even account for. You get what I'm saying? Some you can account for. And the reason is at your stage as a startup, sometimes some of your money is also what runs your life, your day-to-day life. And you get what I'm saying? So, but this class is going to help us create the divide between these two entities, personal life and your business life. So if you look at the screen, you will see I just recapped the business model canvas, okay, to us. And if you remember, we touched on this when we started. This was the very first canvas we shared with you after the experimentation board, where we asked you go find who your customers, understand your key partners, your key activities. And I did say that in that canvas were 2 decks that spoke about cost structure and revenue structure. But at this level, these were just 2 eye levels. Now, these are pain points for most business owners and entrepreneurs, especially at our level. You get what I'm saying? Especially at our level. Just a little digression. I think I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and those were part of the thing that propelled me to want to have a section, a lecture on how African small businesses are impacted with the COVID-19, okay? So look at it. For big businesses, every big businesses can afford to pay what they call UIF for their employees, right? Tabiso, can you afford to do that right now? Atleon, can you afford to do that right now for your business? So even whatever the government is claiming to say, if you're a small business owner, come and claim some form. What are you going to claim? Are you getting it? So, but as a very small business, if we can understand structuring and how we implant structuring from the foundation of our business, it will help us to scale and navigate through every incident at a certain period in life. Now, part of what this financial model canvas is also going to help us achieve is it's going to help us mitigate times like COVID-19 and other pandemic that might arise. Why? Because you have planned ahead financially, structurally, and strategically for the business, and whatever happens that might occur. So I think so. Good. So coming back here now, so this is what we are trying to unpack. The business model canvas, if you remember it. So it is this session today that we are giving a stab on. And through this, we're going to create what we call the financial statements. Amo is not in the house. Can somebody get her back in the house? So, okay, she's in the house now. So through to this session, we will be creating a financial statement. And this financial statement will require 4 elements from us: the balance sheet, the equities of your business structure, the income statement, and your cash flows. All right? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? All right. So now this is exactly what your financial model canvas looks like. This is your revenue stream. Where's my money coming from? Are you with me? And my cost element, where is my money going to? So this, if we were sitting in a class, you were all going to have a canvas like this, all right? And with a canvas like this, you were all going to find yourself at a corner of the classroom where you now get to answer all of this. So we will get here, but I think quickly let's unpack. So I'm sure there is a copy of this slide already shared to you as a document, okay? So just look at it. So from the volume perspective, we just explained in each deck what is expected or what each of them are, okay? You know what price, you know what your volume is, how do you make money in your business? It is key. What products or services do you offer to your clients? And how many products do you sell, okay, per month or per year? Do you offer just one product or services, or you offer multiple? All of this is the section that you will use to answer all of that, okay? And in terms of your product, remember that revenue is always cost, which is price times what volume. That's how you make revenue, okay? You have a product, there's a price for that product. How many you sell is what you consider as revenue. Now, revenue is not yet profit. Profit is only derived after you subtract your cost from revenue. Are we together? So we're going to journey all through this together. So let's talk about the profitability triangle. Now, the drivers of profitability are revenue and cost. Now, profit is always equals to revenue minus cost. So this is the profit triangle. Profit is always revenue minus what? Cost. I need you to say that with me. Say profit.
Profit
is revenue minus cost. And look at revenue. Always price multiplied by volume. All right?
Yeah.
And cost is fixed cost plus variable cost.
Yeah.
Okay? Bless you. All right? Okay. Sorry. So put that in mind. So let's do it. Let me check your maths literate level. Okay? If profit is equal to revenue minus cost. Okay? I'm trying to tweak this thing and see how I shake your brain. So P equals to R minus C. All right?
Mm-hmm.
So what is cost? If P equals to R minus C, P equals to R minus C.
Minus
You said?
revenue minus profit.
Profit.
It would always be that same model, okay?
Yeah.
Revenue minus profit. Okay, awesome. So now let's quickly break down this cost thing. Remember, we spoke about cost being fixed cost plus variable cost. What are fixed costs and what are variable costs? In order for you to get the total cost of your business, you need to understand what your variable costs are and what your fixed costs are, okay? Are you with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what are total costs? So basically now let's define fixed cost, variable costs, okay? Operating cost and capital expenditure, which we call CAPEX. And so meaning for you to arrive or derive your total cost, there are 4 types of cost elements that exist in a business. Am I making sense? So there are fixed costs. No, fixed costs, these are costs that are what? That are independent of what the output. Now they remain constant regardless of volume produced, and are usually considered as sunk for most part. It also includes rent, buildings, machineries, etc. Okay, so these are fixed costs. Now this cost is really not dependent whether you made money or not. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where you're renting, whether your house or your office space, the owner doesn't care whether you made money or not. At the end of the month, you have to make money and pay. You have to find money and pay them. Do you understand what I'm saying? Those are fixed costs. Okay, so those are fixed costs. Now, another type of cost is called the variable cost. And this cost, now these are costs that are what? Costs that vary without output. Okay, now they generally increase now at a constant rate relative to labor and capital. So like I did explain, sometimes your variable cost, let me give you a quick example. If RS Consulting right now decides to say that they are not going to hire permanent staffs, they are only going to hire contractors, okay? So it means each time, or let's say they hire a sales team, but they're not paying them salary. And they say for every client you bring in, you get a commission. Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, so the most such people don't bring in clients, what happens? You don't pay. At that stage, your salary, your wages becomes variable. Okay.
Yeah.
The same thing with your ingredients. For Chile, you buy stuff, you buy ingredients to go make products. You can decide to buy when you need, or you can decide to bulk buy or stock buy for a longer period. When you do that, you've turned some of your variable costs into capital expenditure. All right. So CapEx is a business expense incurred to create future benefits. Okay. So when you acquire, maybe you use sugar. I don't know what other product you use, but sugar just comes to mind. Instead of you buying a 10 kg, you decide to buy 100 kg or 200 kg. You know that will last you for over 6 months. Okay. Now that has become a capital expenditure. Now you also have what we call the operating cost. Now these are expenses that are required for the day-to-day functioning of the business. It is the money needed to what? Turn inventory into throughput. Okay? So your day-to-day operational cost. Example, do you have one? What are your day-to-day operational cost? Your operating cost. Sometimes it could be what? Telephone. Okay? It could be your data. It could be petrol for Vashile who needs to do delivery. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you need to find your day-to-day operation. You say your operational costs. Those things that the business needs daily to survive. And you may not pay it daily, you may pay it monthly. But you know if you don't pay your internet for the month, you will be cut off. Do you understand? So you may not, if you don't have airtime, you may not be able to call your delivery people. You may not be able to call your clients, your customers, to find out if they received the product or not. So all of these are type of cost that every business must understand. So at this stage, do you understand your level of business and the type of costs that you incur in your business? Do you? All of this cost you must incur. So maybe RS accounting currently don't have an office space, so they work from home, right? So you save yourself some money. There used to be time people get ashamed to say, I work from home. No, that's what the world is right now. Everybody's working from home, okay? And soon and very soon, big corporate will really adopt it. On a lighter mode, myself and Leon were having a conversation yesterday. And what we're doing right now, even if when things get back to the new normal, even at Black Umbrella, we would also need to set up live screens like this so that at the end of each class, those who miss the class can go watch the video. So there's no point setting up an extra day to come and cover up with one person or not. And it's also going to enhance revision for you. It's going to help you fall back on something and learn from where whatever was taught. And so if it was something you missed, you can grab all by yourself and learn again. Okay, so that's the new normal. So, but every businesses, there is a way that this costs. Every one of this costs. Like you cannot. This is fixed. You can't escape this. Do you understand? But cost is part of every business. So it is fixed. You must spend money to make money. Are you with me? All right. So we did explain revenue. Depending on your business type, you may have other different revenue streams, okay? Such as royalties, interest, income, tips, and etc. But the truth is, revenue is always driven by volume multiplied by price. So revenue, this is generated by the multiplying the number of the products sold by the sales price. Okay, so these are basic things that I believe we all should know. So there's something called the break-even point of analysis. Now, the break-even number of units is the number of units of products that needs to be sold for total cost to equal to the revenue. That is, profit equals 0. So the best person to use for this model right now is Tabiso, because it sells products. So let's say Tabiso has invested 22,000 rand. So you get what I'm saying? Now, and Tabiso in his 22,000 rand has produced Vashili vodka that after sales will give him 64,000 rand. Are you with me? 64,000 rands. That is almost at a 180% profit margin, okay? 64,000 rands. Now, but that 64,000 rand meant that the Chile produced 200 bottles of vodka. So should 200 bottles be sold, it would make it 64,000 rand. Are you with me? But now, is break-even point or the break-even analysis explains at each point how many bottles of Vashili will Tabiso sell. Are you listening? To recoup his initial 22,000 rand. Are you there? How many bottles must be sold for you to recoup your 22,000 rand? Meaning you need to factor in the cost for one bottle, okay? Sales. You need to factor your total cost, which speaks about your fixed costs and your other costs, okay? Then you also need to factor the number of units that you will sell. So there is a formula that helps us unpack this thing. The break-even number All right. This is the formula. It says break-even number of units is equals to fixed cost. So first of all, what are your fixed costs currently? Your fixed cost divided by price minus variable cost. That is the only way, that's the formula in generating the break-even number. So your fixed cost divided by price. So let's say you sell your bottle of vodka for 300 for argument's sake, right? Or 400, okay? For argument. What are your fixed costs and what are your variable costs? Are you with me?
Yeah.
So what are your fixed costs and what are your variable costs? And so the formula is fixed cost divided, which is FC divided by price, okay, minus variable cost. And I think we did. So I did break down something here, but there was an error on this slide. So where you see 200 rand should be 200 units, okay? Not
Okay.
200 rand. So I will explain that. So now, based on this business model that we use, it is expected that Tabiso's fixed cost is 10,000 rand per month. This cost speaks about his rent, his insurance for his factory. Remember, he's dealing with alcohol so that he doesn't blow up himself and blow up the factory. So should anything happen, Tabiso pays 10,000 rand for all of the security. Okay. Now Tabiso sells one of his brand for 80 rand, one of his bottle. Okay, 80 rand. Now Tabiso's variable cost is 30 rand, meaning cost of sugar. You know, you get what I'm saying? And so if you do this mathematics, price per unit is 80, variable costs per unit. Are you getting it? Now, remember the variable cost now is per unit, not the overall, meaning it costs you 30 rand of ingredient. Are you listening? To make one bottle of vodka. And when you spend 30 rand to produce, you sell at 80 rand. Are we together?
Yeah.
Now, so to get your break-even number, it simply means that you need to sell 200 bottles to recoup the money you spend. So at 200 bottles, you've not made profit. Your profit is zero, but you have just gotten back your capital.
May I ask a question?
Please go ahead.
This your break-even point in units, is it a number that constantly changes, right? Because so my reason for asking is this. So when we started, right, to produce our first batch, right, obviously we spent a certain amount of money.
Yeah.
And then at that point, our break-even point was a certain amount of units, right?
Yes.
And then to produce our second batch, obviously we basically poured more money into the thing, right? And at that point in time, from that first batch, let's say we did not sell enough to break even, and then we like sort of needed more money to produce more units. So does that mean then your break-even point is like constantly changing?
All right. Now, two things must always happen. The breaking point would always change.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So
okay.
It will always change. I'm sure when you produce the first batch, you produced at a particular quantity. All right.
Yeah.
So you produced a particular quantity, meaning the variable cost was different from how much you invested in the second batch, right?
Yeah.
So meaning quantity too changed. As quantity changed, the variable cost changed. And you sat down, I'm sure the price you decided to sell or pitch your selling price was perhaps different as well. Okay, so your break-even point will always change depending on the components that you're using to drive. So, for example, if you invested 20,000 rand, you were able to produce 40 bottles or 100 bottles, okay? And you're selling at 100 rand. You know you need to sell 20 bottles to get your 20,000 rand first. So if you don't sell 20 bottles, like what happened to you at your first batch, you didn't even sell up to the amount that would recover your first investment. Now, the reason why this is required for every business is so that when you get your break-even point, you've gotten your capital, which you know this is the amount I need for this business to produce for me to keep me going in the business. Are you there? So to answer your question, the break-even point number would always change.
Yeah.
Depending on the volume of your produce and the margin, your price against how much it costs you to produce one bottle. Now, for ROS accounting, I know you guys will ask, okay, we don't sell products. How do we calculate break-even for our own business? I'm sure you guys have invested time, skill, and effort. And you guys invest also resources to do your business. Are you with me? So it is much more easier for us to discuss break-even because we're selling products for to be sold. But as a consulting firm, as an accounting firm, your overhead cost might not be that much. Because as long as you have laptop and there's some softwares installed on it, but you have bought those softwares. So the cost of setting up for one client or setting up the tools you need to do business, maybe you need 5 clients to pay you that money. So let's say when you started up, you invested on brand new laptops for 10,000 rand, 2 laptops, 20,000 rand, okay? You invested on the softwares you need to work. Maybe they are licensed software. Per annum, you pay 1,000 rand, okay? Or 1,200 rand per annum. And the total you need to have a license. You spend extra 2,004, okay? You've had to do some training for yourself to skill yourself in the business. That's an investment. Are you getting my point? So let's say at the end of the day, your overall startup cost, you need printer, you need some stuff in the office. At the end of the day, your overall startup cost for the business is sitting at 60,000 rand. The day you break even is the day you find 1 client or 2 clients or 4 clients that when they end up paying you, they've paid you up to 60,000. You get what I'm saying? The day you earn your first 60,000 in the business, that's the day you break even. That's the day you recover what you have put in the business. Are you saying it?
Yeah.
So we all can always calculate break-even point, the break-even number for our different business at different stages. Okay? I'm sure we're going to go on a short break soon, and then we will now come and take a case study, my hot chocolate company. And finally, and Siri own this chocolate business. We're going to use case study. Remember when we did value proposition, we used what is it called? The taxi app, okay? So this time around, we have something called My Hot Chocolate Stand, and we're going to do a case study. This case study will help you now understand how to input numbers in your Excel sheet to do your business financials. So we're going to go on a break now, and when we come back, we'll take our case study. All right, thank you. I'm going to share the new link right now, and we get back into the class almost immediately. All right?
Okay, cool.
All right.